Okay. That's awesome. Me and my air drumming, I almost missed that. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me for a very special reaction video. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications. That helps me out a lot, and hopefully that helps you out too, because you won't miss these when they go live. Now, I could not be more excited about this video today. Not only do I get to react to a brand new video and song from a band I used to have on repeat back in the day, I also get to chat to their frontman Nathan about some of their brand new music. And if that wasn't enough, we've got a special giveaway for you guys planned. If you grew up anywhere around the alternative core emo scene like I did, then these guys need no introduction. But for those of you who didn't, they are the powerful Madina Lake. They formed in 2005 in Chicago. 2007, they were signed by Roadrunner Records. They put out some awesome hits like Here I Stand, One Last Kiss, House of Cards. And they actually won the Best International Newcomer Award at the Kerrang 2007 Awards. And that saw them get an invitation from Linkin Park to join their Project Revolution tour. They've played all the big tours: Reading, Leeds, Slam Dunk, Download, Warped Tour. Their music's been licensed to the WWE, ESPN, MLB, NHL, The Hills, Bully Beatdown, MTV Cribs. The list goes on and on and on. These guys are back, and I cannot wait to hear their new music. We're going to start off with the reaction to a brand new video and song, and then we're going to go into talking to Nathan about how they put this all together and why they're back. I can't wait to chat to him, and at the end of that, I'll let you know about the special giveaway. So take this journey with me. I'm going to set up, and I'll be back in a second. Right, we're ready to go, and I can't wait. The song's called Love Is War by Madina Lake. It's off their brand new 5-track EP, and don't worry, I'm going to be talking to Nathan all about that straight afterwards. I'm expecting some nostalgia, some throwback vibes, but I can't wait to see how their sound has evolved and changed, and I'm looking forward to this one. Madina Lake, Love Is War. Let's see what you got. Okay.
On a plane for you, bought you a one-way ticket to the moon. You said you needed space, I said to get away. We both know you'll be back by noon.
Okay, this is making me smile big time. His voice is so recognizable. It's just making me happy. But I want to go back to the beginning and talk about something. The song's not too long, and also I just want to hear it again. One thing I've always appreciated about these guys is even though the music that they play sits in a more commercial space than a lot of the stuff I do on this channel, their guitar has always had an edge to it. And as a guitarist and someone who likes the heavier stuff, I appreciate that. Also, shout out for letting us know you on that Gibson Les Paul Studio, huh? I like how this starts. It's a bit aggressive. It's that palm muting and those slides. Palm muting, again, is when you use your palm to kind of muffle the full tonality of what you're playing versus letting that distortion ring out. You get more of a chug. I like the repetition of those slides. And I think when it went into the kind of verse piece that they were used a bit more sparingly, which is nice. It's like introducing an idea, making you familiar, and then using it a bit more sparingly as an accent. I like the drum sound on this. You can hear all the individual pieces of that kit, but the cymbals ring out a bit more. There's a bit of like authenticity. Feels a bit more live. Yeah, I really like this. This is a good start for me, making me happy. Have a listen. I didn't catch it very well because it's still early days, but I have a listen to when they're doing the verse drumming, how he switches from the hi-hat to the cymbal to kind of top and tail the cycle. I think it's really smart, and it's kind of just a small nod to let you know we're repeating a verse again, or a piece of the verse again. It's very cool. I love this.
I put your luggage on a plane for you, bought you a one-way ticket to the moon. You said you needed space, I said to get away. We both know you'll be back by noon. I picture California where our stars collide, a beautiful aurora from the northern lights. But you love your reflection much more than mine.
Okay, I'm going to go back so it leads in. I need to say this. When bands play a kind of music like this, there's this misconception that it's easy and simple. It isn't. The genius is in the simplicity and the phrasing. If you want to create a song that's catchy, listenable, and you want it to sit with the listener for long after that song has ended, it's all about phrasing, and he does this really, really well. He kind of switched his phrasing up there, but how he places that story, the lyrics, and the syllables perfectly on the kind of music canvas that he's painting on top of with his vocals, it's awesome. And that is a massive key to success for bands like this. And it's not easy to do. As a songwriter, I can tell you, it's not easy to do. I can't wait for them to kick into a chorus, because they have always had super catchy, super awesome, powerful choruses. So I'm just excited, man. This is cool.
Beautiful aurora from the northern lights, but you love your reflection much more than mine. Something broke you. I just wanna take you by the arms, scream your name until you hear me out. Till you know that I could love you more, but love is war. The story changes.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Let's go back a bit so it can just lead in. Just what I was talking about. Super, super catchy choruses. I was hoping they were going to slow it down in the chorus. I had a feeling they would. It is a kind of generic formula in this genre, but again, there's not a lot of people doing it really well. They do it really well, and I like how it's slowed down. I don't know if I'm hearing things, but I heard a bit of a shaker as well, like an additional percussive layer. At first, I thought it was the cymbal, but it may have been a shaker. And I like how it went into that more kind of chord ring out pieces with, it sounded like a bit of lead work and picking there on top. I'm not going to go back all the way because they're going to play more of those. These songs are centered around those choruses. So, and so far that sounded like a really good one. Okay, something I picked up there, and it's interesting. This is the video is kind of a live performance slash studio mock-up of them obviously creating the song. There's some live footage in there as well, and I'm just looking at the bass, and I'm seeing in some instances when the bassist is standing up, I'm seeing using his fingers to pick, and then I'm seeing him use it to pick when he's sitting down. Now, it's very possible that there's layers to this and they're using both, but I'd really like to know, because I don't hear the clang of that pick, and that sometimes is just a kind of nod to a really good bass tone. You know, when it comes to this kind of stuff, that bass is going to have to be really punchy. It's going to have to support the drums. It's going to be the blend between your percussive sound and your more melodic sound in terms of what the guitar lead work is doing in the vocals. And so far, so good. I picture California where our stars collided. Okay, this lead work wasn't there before. Come on, come on. I just wanna take you by the arms, scream your name until you hear me out. Till you know that I could love you more, but love is war. I just wanna take you by the arms, scream your name until you hear me out. Till you know that I could love you more, but love is war. Okay, hang on a second. So again, something I did think was going to happen, the double chorus. And when it's a good one like that, you really want that to happen. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first time around was just like kind of a single chorus, it was more of a teaser chorus, if you will. That was very cool. I'm loving this. You know, I'm always honest with you guys, and there's not a whole lot of music that I do on this channel that I don't find something great in, and I'll tell you why. Well, it's recommended a lot by you guys, and you know, you've got pretty good taste, and you want to celebrate that music with me. And this is a band that has a very, very, very strong kind of part in my heart and my history in music, and it's so nice to see them playing again. It's so nice to see them creating music again, and I actually really like this song. It is your very typical kind of commercial radio song, and that's a huge compliment, because to get to that level, to get it to be at a place where it is kind of easily consumed by such a wide audience, I think it's difficult. I really do like that. I am going to predict that they're going to go into a bridge at some point here, and I'm assuming it's going to be much more reserved and slowed down. That's my prediction. I might be wrong. Hear me out, till you know that I could love you more, but love is war.
it to the moon. You said you needed space, I said to get away. We both know you'll be back by noon. The story changes.
Okay, so no slow bridge there. Going back into kind of that verse piece, but I like how they had that filter and modulation on it. I like how they took the vocals and pulled the tops and the bottoms out a lot, so you had more of a mid effect pushing through. Again, it's one of those tunnel kind of vibes where it sounds like you're speaking through like a piece of piping, like PVC piping. It's commonly used, but it's difficult to get right. I liked how they used it there very sparingly because it can become a bit samey and it can actually mess with the overall EQ of the song. In my opinion, that's just an opinion thing. There's no right or wrong there. But yeah, this is a whole vibe. And I also like the video, man. It's difficult for people to create like videos during lockdown, and it's just a weird time right now. So shout out to all the bands releasing new music and doing the damn thing.
You said you needed space, I said to get away. We both know you'll be back by noon. The story changes, but it's all the same. Electric lovers turning sparks to flames. I just want.
Okay, hang on, that was awesome. So yeah, I was completely wrong with the whole slowed down bridge piece, and I'm glad I was, because I like that. It was different. I like when I expect something to happen because, you know, commercial norms tell me that that's what's going to happen, and I like when it changes a little bit. Nice little lead piece there. Again, it's not meant to be technical, it's not meant to be showy, it's just meant to be a nice melodic piece to listen to. And it quite often with this kind of music, the lead work is meant to almost be positioned as an alternative to a vocal melody or harmony. It's supposed to be that listenable and melodic. And I like what he did there. It was a little kind of like chugs and upstrums, and then he did a couple lead pieces, and then he did some slides. Nice. It's got like a repeatable cycle to it, so that's pretty cool. It's ticking a lot of boxes. Some of them are very expected, some of them not so much. And it's always difficult when you're breaking down songs like this, because there isn't a whole lot of ultra technical things going on, because there shouldn't be. That's not what this is about. The beauty of this is in the songwriting, it's in the structure, and I am appreciating it.
I just wanna take you by the arms, scream your name until you hear me out.
Come on now.
Do you know that I could love you more, but love is war.
There's definitely a shaker there.
I just wanna take you by the arms, scream your.
Okay, that's awesome. Me and my air drumming, I almost missed that. Very good place to stop here, because at the back there behind him, I can see some song names. And I can see one that says Love is War, and that's the one we're listening to. That's very cool. It's a little kind of Easter egg. Sounds like they're going and double timing that. And that's a very smart way to make a piece of music fresh that you've been listening to for the last 2.5 minutes. I think it's, again, it's something that is commonly done, but when you do it, how you do it, and how long you do it for is the key to the success. I like that it's been done at the end, because now it feels like the song's progressing and moving in a direction instead of going back and forth a little bit. And, this is dead on the kind of length for a kind of song like this that you'd expect. And it's nice to know that there have been little changes, them adding a lead piece to the verse, doing something that sounds like a bit of double time here. It's cool. I wonder, I don't know how they're going to end it. I'm not even going to make a prediction because I was wrong earlier. I'm just going to enjoy it.
Love you more, but love is war. I just wanna take you by the arms, scream your name until you hear me out. Do you know that I could love you more, but love is
Yep. A whole lot of yep. I like that because it made me happy, and music's supposed to make you feel things, and not always is it supposed to be sad. that made me really happy. It's actually quite a really nice message. I'm catching bits of lyrics here and there. You guys know that I do go back and I do listen to these songs over and over, especially the ones I really enjoy. That one is going to be on my playlist. It sounds like a fun song to run to, but it's yeah. I'm sure there's a nice deep message there, especially with the name "Love Is War," and I will go and kind of give it that respect that it deserves. But that was awesome. I really liked that. I liked again, ticked a lot of boxes I was expecting, but those are good boxes, and it did one or two unexpected things. Their signature sound is still there. It's definitely still there, and I'm so glad it is, because a lot of bands evolve and change, and they change so drastically that they kind of lose the secret sauce that made them who they were. Their sound is still there, but there has been definitely an increase in evolution on what they were doing in terms of the production, in terms of one or two of those little guitar pieces they were doing. Very cool. I like that a lot. And through the magic of video editing, I'm going to be talking to Nathan straight after this. So I can't wait for that. And I really appreciate you guys taking this journey with me. Stick around, as I said. I'm going to be chatting to them, doing a bit of an interview. And straight after that, we've got an awesome giveaway planned for you all. So stick around. And just like that, we are joined by Nathan from Madina Lake. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat to me. I appreciate it, dude.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
I got to tell you, I just finished reacting to Love Is War, listened to it for the first time, and that song is an absolute banger. When you love a band the way I do, and when you've got a history with them, and they don't release something for a while, there's a bit of fear thinking that they drift away too much from that sound I love. Have they evolved enough? And I can tell you that all those fears went right out the window the minute that song started, especially when you hit that first chorus. And if you speak to anyone in my Discord channel, they'll tell you how annoyed they are that I can't stop singing it, and singing it badly at that. So I do love that. I love the song, so thank you so much for sending it. But I want to take a step back before we get into the new stuff. Almost a decade since the last release. What was the inspiration to write again, to get the Madina machine wheels moving?
Yeah. It's been weird ever since we did our farewell show, which was in London, and it was an incredible night. But it was about 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. There's just a hole in the general soul of a 4-person band, and it's really weird. It's a unique lifestyle to be in a band as is. You're like married to 4 other dudes, 5 other dudes. You count crew, which of course we do, and we were on the road, I think, for almost 10 years, 8 to 10 years, something like that. And it's a unique lifestyle, to be sure, and it has its challenges, but it's incredible. It's the dream, and you're able to not only create music and have that outlet, which I think is critical for anybody and everybody to have an outlet like that, but then also to go tour around and perform and meet people and lifelong friends from all around the world. To suddenly stop that, that's an adjustment. So I think in the back of our minds, we always felt like we would at some point reconnect. Mateo and I had continued to work over the past 10 years, doing movie soundtracks and writing for other pop artists and that kind of thing. And it just felt like at a certain point, the necessity to write as Madina just persisted, and we finally were in a position to be able to do it, and we're thrilled. It's like you feel like yourself again. That makes sense.
Yeah, of course. When you mentioned, you continued to write. You guys never stopped writing, no matter where you were in the world, and you were always being creative. Some of it for commercial purposes, and possibly some of it for Madina Lake. Talk to me about the difference in that writing for something commercial for other bands versus for your baby, for Madina Lake itself.
Sure. Yeah, and it's a huge difference. To me, writing music is an art and a craft. And when you're writing for movie trailers or for other artists, it's almost solely a craft. You know what I mean? So you kind of learn the steps and the motions, and then you just go through them, and you're taking orders from other people, especially like for movie trailers or for like advertising purposes. They don't often know how to speak in music terms. So they're like, yeah, this, but like a little more blue. You're like, okay, I don't know exactly what that means, but all right. So, you're just essentially a robot. I mean, not entirely, but then when it comes to Medina, it completely brings back the art aspect into the craft. Um, and you're immediately held to your own standard, which, for better or for worse, of course, it's subjective, but um, I hold myself, I can only speak for myself, I hold myself to a certain standard. Like, I can't stomach having lyrics or melodies out there that I don't connect with or relate to or that don't move me. Um, and that comes with its own challenges. I can certainly beat the crap out of myself as good as anyone. But the reward then when you get something that you connect with is exponentially better. So
Now, speaking of writing, I was going to say 10 years is a long time, and you guys would have, as individuals and possibly as musicians in your own right, have kept up to speed with technology changes and how things are evolving. But as a band, coming back after all that time, was there anything that struck you as a bit of a hurdle? What's changed in the music industry, and even specifically to around like the digital emphasis now with COVID?
yeah, all of it has changed. We essentially had to relearn the industry. Like, we're a bit of dinosaurs at this point because we're operating at least on the psychological mindset that you record a record with 12 songs and then it goes up to manufacturing or something and CDs come out and then you tour and support that record. Well, now it's completely different. Wherein it used to be, at least in terms of the business and record label standpoint, it was all about radio. And now it's entirely about Spotify, which I think is incredible because it gives people the opportunity to create their own, whereas radio, like anything else, can be perverted or bought off or subject to, certain pressures to add or play X, Y, and Z. Now, to me, it kind of puts people back in charge of their music, and I love that. That to me is a level playing field, and it puts the onus on the artist to create music that connects with people enough to sink or swim according to your own product.
Now, you mentioned, obviously, we've got this 5-track EP out, and I wanted to it's kind of a two-part question, just get your take on, a 5-track EP is kind of in the middle ground. You didn't just dip your toe in the water with a single, but you didn't go for the full album, as you mentioned. What was the kind of reason and rationale? And then obviously you guys are very concept-based, very big storytellers. So what was the concept behind this one?
Yeah. So we kind of split the difference, I suppose. Nowadays, I guess it's all about the song and releasing just single songs and moving on. So whether we're slow in transitions or what have you, we compromised with an EP, a 5-song release, and then we spread it out, and release like a song a month. And then on September 25th is when the EP comes out and the final song will be available. Then it just bundles. So anybody who's got the previous songs, it just automatically bundles into the EP. So yeah, I guess creatively, our first 3 records, we had done a concept, as you said. And I feel like on the EP, there's a couple songs that belonged in that era, the trilogy era, from the first 3 records. And one is particularly, I feel like, belonged on World War III, which is our 3rd record. And then a couple more leaned towards where we're maybe going creatively. So an EP made sense for us, especially considering now we're already 5 songs into another 10-song batch. I guess I don't know if you can call them records anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I think the EP helped us close that first chapter, and also helped introduce our our next chapter, which is going to be another concept, which we don't like to be completely out front about, open about. It's more of a personal thing, but we're already working on our next batch of music, and it's tentatively titled Superbia, which is going to enter a new concept. So
that's awesome. We can't wait to hear about that one. Can't wait to hear those songs as well. But one thing I do want to mention is the recording of this, and I was blown away by the perfect balance of honesty and production. I feel like there was a real honesty to a lot of like the guitar work. It felt like it was achievable as a guitarist. It felt like if I had the right gear, I could replicate that sound. It wasn't overproduced and run through a bunch of processes. The drums had just enough bleed on to give you a live feel, but you could hear every piece of that kit. Was that a purposeful decision, or when you were recording, was it just something that you sort of felt and went along with?
Yeah, thank you. I love to hear that. When we did our second record, Addicts to Eden, we did it with David Bendeth, who's is an amazing producer. But internally, we feel like it came out a little bit overproduced, a little shiny, too quantized. Everything snapped to a grid, and that's admittedly has driven us crazy. We'd always felt a little looser as a band and preferred a little more of a raw kind of sound. And now, we don't have deadlines and managers and label people insisting that we quantize everything. We feel this like amazing liberty to write as we are and not, I think there's a lot to be said for perfection, but there's also a lot to be said for imperfection, and we're certainly an imperfect band. So I think we're more in line with that raw sound. And so I think it kind of worked for us in this instance.
Talk to me about your guys' songwriting process. One thing that is evident is it's really small nods to how smart you are about the kind of music you play. Not only are the riffs great and memorable, but there's a certain way that you place your phrasing, a certain way that you catch that melody, and it just sits with you days and days and days, weeks, months. Wow. And there is, in my opinion, a real musical IQ to that I think people don't fully appreciate if it isn't overly technical, and it's definitely evidence on this new song of yours, Love is War, and the rest of the songs. And I just wanted to find out how you piece that together. I know you're kind of in control of your own sound at the moment, so it'd be really interesting to see how you write your vocal melodies and what the process is.
Cool. Thank you so much for saying all that. So our general process, had previously been we'd all go into a rehearsal spot together and work out ideas that way. Obviously in this time around, that was not really an option. I mean, we did do a lot of the writing before the COVID and everything, but the actual bulk of it came kind of during or post, and also while we were all in different places. So the process had been wherein we go meet at a rehearsal spot, and Mateo would bring an idea, just like a riff or something, or a couple of loops. This time he would send them, just email them to me, and then I would sit with them. And it's such a weird thing. There is no science to songwriting, but I know creatively, if I have an idea in front of me, if ideas for melodies and lyrics start coming into my head quickly, then I feel like that's a strong riff. That's one we're going to work on. And if it's a struggle, it's something you should probably just pass up. We never do. Of course, we waste, months trying to hammer it out and figure it out. But you can tell when the ideas that are going to work for you come pretty quickly. You can tell right away if they're gonna be something. And I felt like in this case, I think I've said a couple of times, and I've also disclaimed it by saying I'm going to butcher the science, but there is a chemistry when people get together, socially or family, or whatever, in any circumstance. Everybody's energies and particles, right, constantly emitting, and when you interact with somebody else, they entangle themselves and create a chemistry, for better or worse. It could be that like, oh, this guy drives me crazy, or I really like this person for some reason, because, there is that science kind of behind it. So when writing with our band, I think when we are all together on a creative project, it starts generating that same chemistry that we've had since day one. And I think that is kind of what helps us stay connected to the Madina sound. And so the process this time, albeit very different, it was actually, we kind of maintained a very similar approach. So
I also wanted to ask about, 2020 and COVID. It's hard to escape questions like that, especially when you're talking about music and live events. We've mentioned how much has changed, very digital right now. Do you guys have any plans for anything like that? There's a lot of guys doing online shows and things. Is that something that's in the works for you? And obviously not being able to tour, one part of me says it must really sting because of how it's always been obvious how close the fans are to you guys and how important they are. So the one side says it must sting. The other side says there's never been a bigger appetite to consume new music, to consume new media. So have you guys got any plans for that?
Yeah. So we are going to do 3 shows. They're called Veeps shows. It's a new company that does, there's a studio in Los Angeles called Social Sanctuary. And it's like socially distanced or safe or, whatever. And I think it's November 12th, 13th, and 14th. So we're all going to go to Los Angeles. And basically a lot of the bands are doing it these days. They sell tickets virtually, and we play in a studio it's effectively a venue because the stage is all full production and everything. I'm thrilled to be able to be performing, but as you said, we've always been an audience's band. We connect with the people that have supported us, and for us, it's like, that's everything, So I'm a little apprehensive about it. I'm not quite sure how to present a show when there's not an audience that we can interact with and engage with, I mean, the onus is on us to step it up and make it as great as we can. But so in that sense, I'm thrilled to be able to do that, and hopefully the kids that come or watch, will be able to. I mean, I know there's opportunities. We'll be able to live chat and everything, but it's going to be an adjustment. And I'll tell you what, I'm thrilled about 2021 and all of this crap being like a thing of the past. You know what I mean?
That's another thing is I've spoken to a few artists of bands that I've been reacting to and been privileged enough to get to ask them similar questions. And everyone seems to think that, hopefully we can get this under control. Hopefully it can be a safe environment and everyone can get back on the road in 2021. And it almost feels like as a music lover, you're going to be spoiled for choice. You're going to have a different artist in your city almost every night. Does that come with any complexities, or does that just add a lot of fun to maybe collaborate with new artists and, get on the lineup with some of them? Essentially, is there like a competitive nature to that, or is it something that is just opens up so many opportunities?
That's a really great question. I think one of the benefits of tragic situations as this has been, it brings people closer together. And, we've always been the type of band that wants the best for everybody out there. And we focus on the positive as much as possible, even through adversities and difficulties. And there's been a community of bands, artists, and fans that has just been so great and supportive of each other throughout this, and even sometimes underrepresented entities like crew people. They make our worlds go round, and they've been hit by this thing like nobody else as well, and people have done fundraisers and all these things for them too. So I love that beautiful aspect of it. There's a limited amount of venues in the world, and everybody is like, it's like a billion horses at the gate just waiting for that gate to open.
Yeah.
And once it does, look out, people are gonna get trampled and some are gonna, do whatever. But at the end of the day, I can't imagine how amazing it's gonna feel to walk out on stage with a bunch of kids that have not been able to go see live music in so long. And, I know the venues are booking, whenever they start. I think they're starting February 2021 now. So all the agents are like clamoring for slots because there's postponed tours, canceled tours, and then new tours. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. But at some point, inevitably, we're all going to get out there and it's going to be amazing. I don't subscribe to this new normal thing. I don't think that we should be a world of people that live in fear, and I don't think there's any world in which face masks are a permanent fixture, or shows are permanently online, and that's it. So I think we're getting through it. Everyone obviously has to be safe. That's priority number one. But safety, I think there's also risk to not getting back to normal. So I think we're at that point where we have to start kind of getting back out there and doing things like we used to.
One thing I did want to ask, and it's something close to my heart, is that I was in a band with my brother for about 7-8 years, and we're about a year apart. But I mean, I shared some of the best moments of my life in a band, touring, playing live with him. We had our fair amounts of creative differences, as I'm sure you will know all about. But talk to me about playing with your brother and just how special that is, and how amazing it is that you now get to have that chance again on a band's career that was kind of possibly over, possibly not, and now almost rebooting, re-energized, and in an era where it's never been easier to share music.
Yeah, man. Matthew and I have been lucky enough our whole lives to be as close as we are, and to have been able to experience the things we've experienced together throughout our lives. We're absolutely the very best of friends and soulmates, as far as anyone believes that. So it's a gift I can't put into words. I don't know what it's like to not be a twin. I've always been one, and that's the only kind of reality I know. And reciprocally, people who aren't twins probably don't only know what it's like to not be a twin. But you and your brother are a year apart. It's effectively the same thing. I imagine you're extremely close.
Yeah.
Of course, we fight like crazy. It's just for as long as we can remember. It's just part of the equation. But yeah, to share a bond like that throughout an extraordinary experience, like getting on stage and playing songs we'd written together, like there's nothing like that. And I don't like to talk about this almost at all anymore, but we almost lost him, and that was a trauma I can't really put into words, but we didn't, and we got him back 100%, and that I attribute almost entirely to the support of the kids that support our band and were so amazing to us, and other artists that were so amazing to us at the time, that it puts a gratitude in you that can hardly be put into words. So every second of it is special as could be, and every moment is incredibly appreciated. So I'm thrilled. I think we have a couple of festivals that we might be doing in 2021 that what our agent is in talks about, and I just picture being able to go back, especially to the UK and places like Japan and Australia. And as it relates to the question, with my brother and a couple other best friends, it's magic. We're very lucky.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you come to the UK, I'm going to be right in the front supporting. But I did want to ask you a little bit about this as well. I love to ask this because I think it's such a unique thing. But what is your take on this whole YouTube reactor scene? Don't worry, you can be as honest as you like. I guess a lot of people look at it as purely entertainment. Some people are looking at it as a new platform to potentially do a bit of digital PR and promotion. I look at it as something that's extremely fun. I started as a hobby, and now I'm getting an opportunity to talk to some of my childhood favorite bands, and it's awesome to me.
I could not think more highly of it. It's like the best thing in the world, and I'll tell you why. You know, especially nowadays, it's hard to trust things coming from entities that you used to be able to trust, or at least think you could trust. So, you know, whether it's kids posting things online, or whether it's a review in Rolling Stone or whatever, as genuine and great as many of those things are, there's always I don't know, a lack of authenticity to it. With reaction videos, as far as I'm concerned, you know, when people listen to the songs for the first time, you can't fake those reactions. You know what I mean? So whether someone's just talking all kinds of shit on a message board about your band, or likewise, it's like, did they ever listen to the song? Do they even know what it is? Do they not like the way the band looks or whatever? Authenticity is like, and truth in the moment is what I'm all about it. And these reaction videos, that's why you're blowing up, you know, you and the others, you know, that are doing it. And obviously you have a unique ability for it. And I think you're absolutely killing it, and your future is huge. But I'm a full supporter of it.
Thank you so much for saying that, dude. That's amazing. Just a few more questions for you. The singer of Madina Lake has to have a pretty interesting Spotify playlist. And if I were to log in and somewhere get your details, what would I find on there? What are some bands and some songs that are kind of popular uptakes for you?
Man, it's been a strange thing for me in terms of fans, being a fan of music. I mean, I love Youngblood. I love most things Travis Barker does. Dave Grohl, I'm always a Muse fan. I'm always a Pumpkins fan. We've been on a 90s kick for a while, and we just did a Beck cover, if you remember that song Loser.
Yeah.
We just did a cover of that we're kind of figuring out what to do with now. It's really interesting. I like it. But so it's given me an opportunity to listen to Beck again, and what a talent. I mean, he's incredible. I love that guy. So yeah, I don't, admittedly, like, listening to music has been a challenge for me, because ever since our last show, I've carried a little bit of a bad taste about it in general, because if I'm listening to music, I envy those who are out there making it, you know, and able to still go out and tour, and that wasn't our lives for a while. Now that we're kind of back in the writing mode and playing shows mode, I'm finding new artists that I'm kind of getting back into it. But admittedly, I've not been devoted a lot of time to seeking out new music and new artists until just recently. But yeah, Youngblood, I think, is amazing, and the others that I mentioned. Yeah,
I've only just come across him. Known of him for a while, but I've got a bunch of reactions lined up, so I'm really excited about that. Last question. This is a bit of a two-in-one for you. When a Madina Lake fan, new or old, listens to the new music, what's the one thing you want them to feel? And then just off the back of that, with the fans and your band having such a close bond, how are some ways that they can support you, other than obviously, you know, going out and getting the music and listening to that? Where can they connect with you? How can they support you guys, and where can they get a hold of you?
That's awesome, man. Thank you. So yeah, first and foremost, we're scheduling some like chats and stuff that we've done a couple since we put out our first newer track, Playing with Fire, and it was extraordinary. Just we did these Instagram live chats, and to be able to talk to it and answer a whole bunch of questions, and just knowing that people are still out there and take care was incredible. As is, and we're so grateful for that. So we're going to be engaging as much as we possibly can, and really all I ask of anybody in terms of support is if you take a moment to listen to the songs, that's everything. You know, that's enough right there. That means the world. As to your first question, a new fan, old fan, listening to new songs, old songs, whatever. I guess my whole approach has been to writing and stuff has been to take difficult experiences. And I used to always kind of say this, I think live, is like you have to love even the worst moments of your life because they make you who you are. And challenges can seem insurmountable or overwhelming throughout your life, and almost always will. But the critical aspect in acknowledging those through songs or creative endeavors is to maintain an optimism or a hope or a confidence and security of getting beyond that challenge. And so that's my ambition for anybody listening to songs, as far as my role of writing the lyrics and melodies, is to understand that we can all connect and bond through tragedy or difficulties or, broken hearts, as it were, or stress in any way, shape, or form. But also knowing and staying well aware of the fact that this too shall pass, and things will always get better, and we could get through it however we can, but we will get through it.
I appreciate that, man. That's something I wanted to hear right now as well. So that's been an important message for me.
Okay.
And I really appreciate you taking the time. I'm going to make sure that I drop all your social handles and everything in the video description. So if anyone wants to hop on board there and find you easily, we'll do that. Links to the songs as well. And we are going to be doing a nice giveaway. So if you are interested, please head over to the YouTube community page of mine, or Twitter, or on Discord. I'm kind of doing those across there, and I think there's some awesome stuff coming out. So you'll see that come out over the course of today, and you'll find out how to enter in that. Nathan, thank you so much. Honestly, it means the world to be able to sit down and chat to you, and to see that your passion and inspiration is still as alive as ever. The new stuff is killing, and I wish you all the best with it.
Chase, thank you, man, really, and much love and respect. Keep doing what you're doing. You're killing it, and thank you.